Hello, and you're welcome again to another conversation on sustainable living. We're talking to people who lived in the 50s and 60s, who were reflecting on sustainable living, on the sustainable development goals, and how life then may actually teach us a lot about how we can repair the planet and prepare for a better future. Today, we're talking to John Michael Ngwaru, who worked as a policeman right across Central Africa. And he's going to talk to us about the life that he remembered as a child and growing up, and how things have changed during that lifetime.
My names are Ngwaru.
Ngwaru?
John Michael. It is my first name, and it is a name given to me by my elders. And it has a meaning. Ngwaru means colorful.
All right.
Colorful. You know a zebra?
Yes.
Oh, yes. So Ngwaru is just as colorful as a zebra. Today I am 70 years old, and for that reasons, I've seen a lot of changes and differences from what we had before. After my schools, I traveled out to go and look for some more school fees because my father has failed to raise the school fees for my secondary education at that time. So there was a cousin brother already working in Entebbe, since you have been in Uganda, in Entebbe.
Oh, yes.
And yes, now he was working at the Air Force and near airport there. And therefore, that is from my home to that place was 224 miles. Now, that was my first time to step in Kampala, and I didn't know the place. But I was dressed up in my school uniform. Yes, school uniform. I had a white shirt, short-sleeved. Then I had the shorts. It was short also. And had shoes, all right. I bought the shoes for the first time that year. Had the shoes because I'd grown cotton and got some little money. So I started some pottery work, helping people to sweep the compounds. But I was too young to do that heavy work with wheelbarrows. But he said, okay, we push you in the office. So I entered the office as a messenger, just running from this letter to the other office, because there were no telephones from one office to the other. There were very few. What happened, the first salary I got, I went and bought a trouser, very good shoes again, white shirt. I got a watch. The watch would click even if you are 5 meters away, you would hear the watch clicking. Quack, 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 you see. But I was very happy. I bought a tie, and all of them were white. White shirt, white trouser. And every evening, I washed my trouser and the shirt and ironed them at night, very early in the morning. So my smartness helped me to do that work, and people liking me. When I came to say that, when I knew myself around 7 years, when I started school, we used to walk. We used to walk from home to school. For 6 years, that's primary 1 to primary 6. We always walked 2 miles, not kilometers. I think that is about 3 kilometers.
Yeah, 3 or 4, yes.
Every day we walked 2 kilometers to school and back. And the first years, year 1, 2, of course, it was half day. But from year 3, you have to go the whole day. So you are now start eating in school. So you have to pay for the meals in school. But even during the school time, we used to have games from between one school to the other. And I remember the nearest school which we used to walk to is 5 kilometers now, if I can remember now 5, because it is now on the main road and they have put kilometers. from where the school I was to where we used to go is 5 kilometers. So everything was walking. So I have known from my home to that school is 11 kilometers. But for 2 years, we walked morning to evening. You go to school and come back.
11 kilometers each way.
Yeah, that is 22.
Yeah.
And we learned how to keep time. There was no watch, no clock, but you get out in the morning and check on the star, the big star.
Okay.
See its position. And you know, now it should be coming, it is already done, we must leave. From here, if I left when the star is in this position, I'll reach school at 7 o'clock. And we learned that very well. So we walked those distances, whether it's raining or not raining, we walked. That time, those who did not like school and those whose parents did not mind much, the children did not go to school because of the distances. But maybe I was interested in school, but my father was also somebody who was interested in school because he had been a soldier. He went for the Second World War. They went up to Egypt. So I think he had seen the meaning and the usefulness of education. So he really encouraged me, and then that's how I went to school because of that interest. Food, at my age now, the food we are eating now is not good food. In fact, most of the foods we are eating is really junk food. And the foods we ate were even medicinal to us because we're medicinal. But most of the food we ate was peas. We had peas, cow peas, then the peas, and we had green grams, very rare, little. We didn't have maize those days. We had millet, we had sorghum, we had potatoes, and we had yam, and many few small things there. So our foods, the way mothers would prepare for us food. When in the evening or lunchtime, you have food, lunch and supper, we use have. And you know, during the farming season, always there is breakfast. But when there is no farming, like now it is drought, no breakfast. No breakfast. But during farming time, when people come back from the garden, they eat. They prepare, they find something prepared last evening, so it's just warmed and the people eat. Then they have some lunch, light lunch, and then they go back to gardens. Then after garden, they come, and then while the women are making supper, there is always some little brew prepared, some marwa, you know, they call it marwa. It's made from, in here we call it Congo in my language, and the others call it ajono.
Ajono, yeah.
Yeah, Congo. Now,
I think
it's a brew from millet.
Yeah, I think I've had some of that. I sat with some village men one time drinking it out of a long straw. The bowl was put in the center near the fire. And
exactly. Now you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about, yes.
So now, in that time, some elders will sit and take that thing as the mother is doing, the children are playing. And when it's time for supper, everybody sits down and eats. Because not every day, as people drink a lot these days, it's not like that. So when the mother is cooking, there is a campfire made in the compound. And the elder is there, the father is there, and they give you folk stories as you wait for food. The meat was not eaten during the day. It was a supper. So in the morning, after you people have had your breakfast, your lunch, and there's meat that day, so the mother quickly puts it on fire. Slowly, with a certain size of firewood, and it cooks slowly up to evening, and it will be served. If the family wants to fry that food, after it has cooked properly, then they will put some cooking oil, some onion, curry powder, and they put it in a saucepan. After they have cooked it properly, they have fried them, then they pour this cooked meat ready now into that saucepan. Then they just mix it a bit, they stir it, and they allow it to cook a bit slowly without firewood now, warming it, and that food is more delicious than the type of meat we are eating now. Now people are eating this type of fried food in their way, steamings. People are already complaining there is ulcers. People have ulcers. People have infections of kidneys, have a problem of liver. People have pressures. You see, many things. Now, there was milk. If the cow is milked, it is put in a gourd. Then it is churned. Now the butter is removed. Then that churned milk sour now. The sour milk, maybe we have a way of preparing potatoes. During this time now, people are just finishing. They slice the potatoes and dry. So you cook it, and that tomatoes, the potatoes which have been cooked, it's either pounded and then it's mixed with the sour milk. And that's what you drink as your breakfast. It's very nutritious. Now, for a meat, most of the time, people dried meat. It was not eaten when it's very fresh. So you get meat today, you put them in some sticks and put them near some fire, slowly it dries. And if it is much, because those days people had cows, some cows would die, they wouldn't throw it because it is sick. They would burn it. Sometimes even if the veterinary people say, no, you burn that meat, people would hide it. But you dry it, and when it is dried, we had a pot. Then there is ash. Ash, which has been, there's a special type of vegetable which grows around the compound. It has some thorns. So when they cut it, it dries, then it's burnt, it produces ash. So this dry meat is pushed into that ash. Not even, no worm can go there. No worm can go there. So it dries. Now when it is time to be cooked, the woman will get it from that place, will remove some ash off, then wash it. It must be washed, and it is not washed with cold water. It's washed with warm water. Then it is cooked, and you'll see how soft the meat will be. And you see, there were no many diseases by that time. And in case somebody was sick, for example, you have malaria, they just go and look for some root, they come and pound, boil it, and you are given water. But then that water for that juice to drink as a treatment. But one other thing is they boil water, and they also boil some stones. They put stones in the fire, and they are boiling also water. So if you boil the water, you are brought into maybe the compound. What do? They bring the very hot water, pour in the basin. You are seated around the basin, near the basin. They cover you maybe with a blanket. They cover you with a blanket, and it is like steam bath. And then they bring those stones again, they throw into that water, and you see the mist coming out. I almost saw it when I was going to say, I'm going for the steam bath. One time I tried, I never went back because I said, this is what we're being done at home. So I have never gone back. So some of those medicines are very good, and they are still there. You either use the roots or it is seeds, but they also become rare because people kept on. I went to people to lunch. You people in Europe, you see a good thing and you take and you add value to it, and so you give little money here, and many people have dug them off, and many of them, they are very rare now. Women went to the forest and gathered a special size of firewood, not very big, not small. And if it is a little bit big, they come and split it at home. But you women were not allowed to bring in small trees. And the women were not supposed to cut raw tree. So you have to bring dry one, because as the tree grows, some of the branches dry off.
Yeah.
So those are the ones they're supposed to cut. Now, if you went and cut a fresh tree, I remember the wife of my uncle did it. She was caned because he said, "You are now spoiling our environment." Eh? No, you don't know that the trees are helping us with the rain. I don't know how they manage, but that's what I had, the word I had from them. Why do you cut those trees? It helps us with the wind. You are going to spoil our home. You go to the bush and bring firewood. So that's how it was working. In my time when I was growing, the bicycles were very few in my village. And they used to borrow them. Somebody's going a long journey, because formerly, even during that time as I grew until I reached about 20 years, people still were being sent. If somebody, maybe a relative has died some 10 or 20 kilometers away, someone is sent to inform the other relative, and they walked. You walk the whole day, inform those people, sleep there, then the next day you walk with them back to the burial place or the mourning place. See how hard it was. Sometimes you borrow a bicycle from a neighbor who has a bicycle, then you ride and come back. Now, there were very few blacksmiths also there who used to repair. When it is deflated, there were very few people who could repair. When it's deflated, you repair. And each person used to buy. If you own a bicycle, you buy the gum. For when your thing is deflated, you open, you mend it like that. But there were few people who replace. Now, if it is also broken, because the frame of the bicycle can get broken, we had a few blacksmiths. I remember in my time, up to now, I still remember two only of them. So people would go there, take his bicycle, you find that man with, he has made some charcoal, put fire there, put your bicycle there, start pumping, and the thing melts. It comes to red, then some metal he uses there, and then he repairs that part. So those were some few blacksmiths we had there. I like traveling, reading, dancing, music. I like dancing.
Good.
So that is it.
Well, we might talk the next time. Maybe I'd love to talk the next time about some of those traditions and songs and dances and the folklore and folk stuff and things like that you're working with children with. And it'd be very interesting to talk again about that,
Thank you.
Thanks again, Ngwaru, and I'll talk to you again. Look after yourself for now.
I think I'll try. I'll try my best to look after myself. What else I talk to you?
Esther, that was excellent. You picked a very interesting character for me to talk to.
Thank you.
I think Ngwaru could talk all day about folks and people and all the rest. It was really enjoyable. Really enjoyable.
Sure. I'm going to request him to record some of the folk songs.
It would be great. That would be lovely. Yeah.